on the next slide is Project 2025, which is very scary to me. That's very, very scary. And the last one
Fitting as
you
we are
did, you
in
pointed
spooky
out,
season.
I was
Mhm.
gonna say the last one you did, you pointed out some stuff to me that, yeah, why are we doing this? What, and why did they put it in writing?
Yeah.
I'm
In
Can
the
so
somebody,
grateful
public.
they did. I'm
can
so
somebody
grateful they
explain?
did.
Well, I'm grateful,
I'm
but
so grateful they did.
when you come up with an evil plan, you don't usually hit publish on a website. I'm just saying. Most
My
evil
grandma used
plans
to
you
say,
kind of keep to yourself and you implement them, but yeah, evil geniuses. Mm,
my grandma used to say, common sense is not that common.
yeah,
And damn if she wasn't right. The
yeah.
older I get, the more she was right about stuff, her and my mama. But don't tell my mother I said that, please, for the love
I
of
will
God.
not.
I
I will.
would appreciate that. You too, Nate.
Your secret's safe with me.
Snitches get stitches, sir. Probably, I heard that in a prison movie. It was very exciting. So let's talk a little bit about Project 2025 because we're not horrified enough. Um, so uh, there's this policy, right? And it's called Property Appraisal and Valuation Equity Policy. And it was put in place by the Biden administration. And essentially, what this does, it prohibits you from going into a home that you know is owned by someone of color or a woman and not evaluating that property appropriately. So what they were finding was black homeowners would go to sell a house. The appraiser would come and say, this house is worth about $400,000. And it's like an $900,000 property. So then what the black folks would do was they would go in and they would take down all the pictures of themselves, anything that indicated that black people might live there. They'd have another appraiser come in and like, oh my God, this house is beautiful. It's worth at least $1 million. And that just kept happening. So we're gonna this is stay with me because we're gonna go on a ride. So what happens is these homes are undervalued. They get sold, a white family buys it, and then the property value goes up, right? So that's essentially pushing black people out of these neighborhoods, right? And they're not getting, what is it, fair market value for their homes. And then let's say that nobody wants to buy the house because it's been so horrifically undervalued. Well, now you have a bunch of homes in areas because you think about it, most I wouldn't say all the time, but oftentimes you live in your community. So you might live around more black people. So this property value goes down, your property value goes down. Now the next one goes. So it's that domino effect. Now this neighborhood is not as economically viable as it used to be. So now it gets redlined. And now we're back. So what Project 2025 wants to do is get rid of the policy that makes that type of behavior illegal. It wants to do a lot more than that. It also wants to put limits on public
Yeah,
housing residents.
what? Okay, never mind.
No, no,
I'm not gonna ask why through this whole section. I'm not gonna ask why. I promise. I just, mm,
Well, the
just
plan, the whole Project 2025 is there's lots of parts of it deal with. Just don't mention race at all because it's not a problem in this country. There's no systemic racism.
not at all, not at all. Yeah, yeah. But get this. I love that you said this. But on page 509, I'm just going to read this. The housing department should prohibit non-citizens, including all mixed status families, from living in federally assisted housing. This means that tens of thousands of immigrant families, including those with spouses or parents or children who are legal U.S. citizens, would face eviction. That's according to HUD. According to HUD, about 55,000 children would be negatively impacted by this. Another policy says they want to put strict limits on public housing residents by scrapping housing first models of assistance. Housing first models have been extensively studied and found to be far more effective at reducing poverty and homelessness than treatment first models, which often require sobriety and mental health treatment. So this is saying, hey, you might be addicted to heroin. We're going to put you in this house to get you off the streets. Then we will treat you. One of the
because
things that
it
I found
considers Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Thank you.
Basically,
One,
like if you have your basic needs taken care of, then you might be able to worry about getting sober. But if I don't have a house and I'm not regularly fed and I'm don't have any place to get clean, not clean as far as sober, but clean as far as not
you can
smelling
go get
like
a job. Yeah.
yesterday's whatever.
I'm like outside.
How, how am I can't even think about getting a job or getting sober
One
because
of the yeah, one of the things that I learned, and I did not know this, and now that I do, I can't unknow it. So I used to be of a mind that if somebody homeless was asking for money, I wouldn't give them money because you're just going to use that money to buy drugs. Well, one, if I give you money, it's your money, you do what you want with it. But two, I did not know that people, a lot of homeless people or houseless folks, they do meth because it keeps them awake. Because if they fall asleep, they become victims.
Mm.
So it's better to take something that's going to keep you awake so you can keep yourself safe than fall asleep and be vulnerable to physical assault, sexual assault, somebody steals your stuff. The numbers of sexual assault for those who are unhoused is astronomical, both men and women. And it's not just people who live on the streets, it's also people who live in shelters. People get assaulted in shelters all the time. But this is an underrepresented community that is basically the garbage trash people that nobody cares about. And so it goes underreported and under investigated. And to be honest, for me, it makes so much sense now why so many people turn to drugs. Because if I fall asleep and somebody hurts me, I would much rather be awake and have a fighting chance than wake up and my shoes are gone.
Mm.
Wake up and my backpack is missing. Somebody took all my stuff. Somebody beat me up. Somebody raped me. Like that is terrifying. And that is not something that I knew. And if you are going for housing first, you're putting people in safe spaces where they can, regulate themselves, where they feel calm and they know no one's going to hurt them. And now you can focus on treatment. Like that is just mind boggling to me that Project 2025 aims to get rid of all of these things that are put in place to make people safe.